Hello everyone, this is Wormer. If you're watching this video, hopefully it means you have an unassembled Mimic box in front of you. Either because you bought it unassembled or because you bought the STL and it's finished printing and you're wondering how this all fits together. So, I'm going to show you how. First, some terminology. I'm going to refer to this as the box, this part as the lid. This will be the eyes, obviously. Bottom teeth, they're a little shorter. And upper teeth. They're a little longer to give you that nice overbite. You're also going to need some wire. If you bought it unassembled, it's going to come with this wire. It's also going to come with these rubber bands. But if not, and you print it at 100%, this wire is about 2 millimeters wide. Should fit the holes pretty nicely. You can honestly use old coat hangers for this. You can get craft wire, that's what this is. Really flexible, but you might even be better off with some wire from Home Depot or something. If you print it smaller, you're going to have to check different gauges and see what actually fits. When I was printing really small, even paper clips would work, but really you want to get it as snug as possible because you don't want as much wiggle room in there. So let's get started. You should also have some fishing line. Some strong, thin cord there too. And again, this will be in the kit if you just bought it unassembled. Now, you may also need some wire cutters if you're getting your own wire, but this stuff is also so weak. It just breaks if you bend it back and forth a few times. Let's start with the box and the bottom teeth. So, I've also got some tweezers here. You're going to want something pointy. Tweezers are super ideal, but I've used bits of wire before. You probably can use like a steak knife or something. So what we got to do is we got to poke these rubber bands through the holes right here. Try not to use big wide rubber bands. This is going to be a pain. I had to do that when I realized I don't have very many rubber bands, and it was not fun. So make sure you get these small ones. If it's good enough, it might just go right through, or it might need a little coaxing with the tweezers here, but should be able to get it through there. Now the important part is we want to make sure this is going over the top here. The reason it's designed this way is because I used to just have these solid loops here and I connect them like this, but they didn't pull the teeth all the way. So to get them to pull just a little more, I made these grooves so that the rubber band's coming over the top instead of the sides. And that extra pull makes it pull out just enough. So you're going to want to get this, and then you'll put the side coming to the left through it, just like that. And again, make sure that there's a part coming through the top there, just like that. Now, you're probably going to want to do this for both sides, and then to keep it stretchy, you could tie a knot kind of like this, just through, blah, blah, blah. But just for our purposes, we're just going to do one side as is. Best to do both sides so that there's even pull as time goes on. Like I said, this is just to show you the technique, and then you can do both sides on your own. Next, we're going to get the wire through these spokes here, so line this up. This is the most obnoxious part. You'll see that part fits right in there quite nicely. And then just try to eyeball it. Start in there, get as close as we can, and then hope we get lucky enough to poke it through. Oh good, you can see it poke through right there. That's a good thing. Uh-oh, it seems to be running into something. Maybe if I rotate it. There we go. And now, just make sure it's aligned again, so it comes all the way through, just like that. Now, you're going to want to retract it till it's flush, or just showing a little bit. And then, we're going to clip this side. Not picture because they're still curing, but you should also have some rivet caps, the little semi-spheres, and that's what's going to cover these up. They'll look like rivets, and they'll hide the wire here. But just for now, we're going to leave this here. Oopsie, perfect. Okay, you can test the spin there. It hits that quite nicely, flips over through, perfect. Now, tighten that up again. You're just going to want to connect it to these hooks in here. Like I said, you may want to knot it about halfway to keep it nice and tight, just so we can continue onward. I'm just going to use the one rubber band and get it through here. Come on. Stay. Perfect. Perfect. Look at that. So when it's all shut up, when the box is shut up, when you tell the box to shut up, this will be out like this, flush there, and then pew. Perfect. That is beautiful and fun. Okay, bottom part is done. Let's move on to the lid. Got your lid here. Actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. We are going to start with the eyes. Now, this is the annoying part because you got to tie some fishing line. If you know some good ties to do this, please use your expertise. I haven't fished in a long time, and my dad used to tie the lures for me, so I don't know anything off the top of my head. That said, I looked into it, and we start with a pretty typical knot. I think it's called a uni knot. You could Google that. There's this website I found called Sport Angler's Guide to Fishing Knots, and it links to the uni knot, which looks like the common knot I saw growing up fishing. But I'm also just going to replicate it here with this cord so it's easy for you to see if you just want to watch it through here. We're going to pretend this is this little spoke here, because we're going to start and connect to that little spoke. But what you do is wrap it around once, and then twice. Get some more there. Great. And then, so make sure this is the long piece, obviously. You got a shorter area. Let's tighten that up. And then this part actually doubles back. Like so. And it goes over everything on the top. And then, after it goes through the top, it comes through here like this. And you're just going to want to do that again. Goes up at the top, comes out through this loop. And see, it's starting to loop around here. I'm kind of running out of cord, but the idea is that you do this 2 more times, maybe even just 1 more. So you're just kind of going through here, squeezing it out here. And then eventually, this is exactly what you want. Then you're just going to tighten this all up and try and get the knot as close as possible to that spoke. That's what we want. So, like I said, just look up, Google the uni knot if you want a picture, or just rewatch all those instructions slowly. But that's what I'm going to do with the fishing line. It's just a lot harder to see when it's tiny and thin like this. But let's see what we can do. So remember, we're going to start with it going around a couple times. 1, 2, keep it tight. And then just like I showed, I'm going to have the shorter end on the bottom, still keep it long, just so I have some wiggle room. And then remember, it doubles back, and we're still, the vertical part here is still just on top of both of these strings. But it goes behind, and then the toe jumps through the hole, goes back up over the 2 logs, jumps through the hole again. That's how we say it back here in the creek. And then the guide says 2 more times. I'm just going to do it 1 more. You don't want the knot to be too bunchy, or else it's going to jam up the mechanism just a little. That's something I already troubleshooted and gave some extra room for, but we don't want that to happen. So, let's see if we did it right. Maybe. I don't know. Oh, there it goes. Come on, baby. And you have this plastic wire is so stiff and finicky. Oh, I think we're doing it. Okay. tight, but you want to be careful because this plastic is more brittle than you think, even though I'm using the stronger version. Oh, that's looking real good. Let's look up close at it there. It should kind of look like a little noose. Like I said, you can do more loop-de-through before you tighten it, but like I said, you don't want a huge knot there. So it's kind of like a slip knot now, which is perfect because the short end doesn't move. We're going to tighten it as much as we can. But the long end, when you pull it, tightens it up. Oh yeah, that's perfect there. Nice. Okay. Next thing you want to do is we'll take a look at our lid here. You kind of want to see how it lines up. This round part at the top where the little hole is, it's going to line up with that little hole there. So you're going to want to line it up there. You can see that when it flips, this U shape will go around that U shape up there. Like I said, you can watch my design process video, but this little spoke used to be up a little more, nice and flush, but then even the knot would kind of bump into this U-shape thing and have the eyes not go up as much as I wanted. So I moved it back a bit. There's that space there. Like I said, you can see pretty quickly that knot's going to get pretty big and bump into that a little bit. So try not to make this knot too bulky. But next thing you want to do is you get your long end, and we're going to want to thread it through this U-shape from the outside, from the inside toward the out. So you don't want to go in the top like this. You want to come outside like this. So get our thread here, and let's see if we're lucky. You kind of just gotta hope it pops through there. Come on, there we go. Okay. You can also use the tweezers. That would have been a little smarter. So, as you can see, we have the eye aligned. We make sure that that's correct. It's coming from the inside outward, just like that. Now, we don't really have to worry about the string anymore. Just make sure it's through there, because it is a real pain to try and get it through there after we get the eyes and the teeth in. But now, we are going to get the eyes in and get some wire now through this one here. So that's the next step. Get your beautiful wire ready to go. And like I said, this needs to be lined up. And let's see if we do it in one try. Oh, I think we did it. Practice makes perfect. Yeah, oh, shoot. Oh, no. Make sure you're only holding a little bit of the wire if it's soft before you can try and push it through. I think it's going. Oh, yeah, we did it. Nice. Okay, like I said, you can either snip it or I'm just going to retract it till it's right on in there. And then we're going to cut this right here. Okay, give that a little swivel. Look at that. That is perfect. You can even pull on the string too. Oh yeah. That's awesome. It is coming along. We may as well cut this little guy. I don't know where my scissors are, but we can cut this end. Let's get tight enough there. Great. Goodbye. Okay, next what we're going to do, we're going to put the teeth in, but first I'll kind of review how this is going to go. So we want the string to come through this U shape, and then we want it to go around this side here and then anchor to this thick cylinder there. So that's kind of what the end goal is going to be. But we're going to put the lid on hold. We're going to get our second rubber band and do the next annoying part. We have to shove it through this tiny little slot here. Oh boy, that's always fun. The smaller you print this, the more of a pain this is going to be, but I've done it with like something super pointy. And like I said, make sure you're using a small rubber band, because I once had to do this with a thicker one, and it was a pain. It didn't even go through till I cut it and just had to slide one end through and then back and then tie it. It was really, really dumb, but like I said, I didn't realize how devoid of rubber bands I was. until I started implementing them in this design. So it's starting to come through. Let's see if we can grab it. Come on. All right, let's get a little more through there. Okay. Oh. Ah, money. There we go. Okay, that's been pulled through. The next we got to loop it around this little cylinder here. So we'll start by jamming it like that, and then if I pull tight on this, that kind of helps. Just a little. So I'm pulling tight. Oh, I almost lost it there. That's dumb. But just make sure you just kind of finagle it till it... There we go. Just like that. That's not going to come loose now. Perfect. Now let's do the other side. This one's nice because you can just use one rubber band for this. And we're just going to do the same here. Come on. Don't be silly, silly Billy. Man, mimics are so cool. I wish everything was a mimic. I wish I was secretly a mimic and I didn't know it. How cool would that be? That's the dream right there. That you're a mimic and you don't even know it. One day someone just activates your mimic instincts and you find out you've just been trying to lure the right meal all along. How devastating would that be? What if, like, when you think you're meeting the perfect person, it's actually just your mimic instinct saying, yes, I have finally found my meal. This is what my life has led up to. What's wrong with me? Anyway, this is what we want. Perfect. So, let's now attach top teeth to the lid. Like I said, remember that this line, you don't want it on the front of the teeth. You want the teeth to be behind it. So, we'll make sure this is kind of out of the way here. So like I said, if you get the spoke through and this fishing line is stuck around here, you're going to have to undo all that and get it in the front here, and that's going to be really annoying. Just make sure it's in the front, like this. Okay. Now, we'll get our last piece of wire through, so that'll be able to pivot, just like that one show where the guy says pivot a lot. Hilarious, hilarious time of pivoting. Oh boy. Come on. Uh-oh. You know, I may have forgotten to clean all the resin out properly, or maybe there's a little deformity, but oh, it poked through. Okay. Let's get in there. This one's a little easier because it's got this inward shape, so you can actually see the hole a little better. It's not as flush as the other one. And then just keep pushing that through. Oh yeah, there's something. These holes. You know, I'm not going to say it because someone's going to clip that at me and make it sound like I'm saying something not appropriate for work. Okay, look, it's gone through. It's poking out just a little bit. That's perfect. The rivet cap will cover that. We'll give it the old snippy snip, just like we gave my dog. Just like that. Perfect. Great. We are getting there. Remember, just make sure this is coming through that U shape and it is in front of the teeth as we're holding it here. You don't want it behind. But we may as well keep this to the right out of the way and test. Oops. See if you don't get out of the way. This thing is going to get trapped between the two hooks. You don't want that. Keep it to the right. Zoop. Just like that. This guy is still behind the rubber band. Now we'll take a look. Oh, look at that. Boing, boing, boing. That is satisfying. So there's little nubs that make this stop right flush there as we want. But now as the rubber bands pull this open, we want it to pull on the fishing line and again, bring up our eyes. So this is also kind of the most annoying part. There's many steps that are the most annoying part here. Like I said, whoever designed this is garbage. Just kidding, he's pretty cool. So I'm just going to show you the knot I use, but like I said, if you've got a better knot in mind, please use it. So again, let's get our trusty little charging port out. Let's pretend this area is like the big cylinder we're going to get through. What we do is we're going to loop the end of fishing line, which is now in the way. Okay. So, we got the fishing line coming up. We're going to get it around the cylinder, like so. And what's worked for me is it starts with like a normal knot. Like this, you know, just looks like a normal knot there, just like that. But because the wire is so stiff and wants to undo itself, it's not flexible, which is what we want. It's a strong wire. This alone isn't enough. We want it to kind of self-tighten. So what I do before I tighten it is I get this end and I loop it through the cylinder again. And again, I didn't give myself enough slack. Hold on. Bear with me. Grizzly, bear with me. So, okay, we got our normal thing. Maybe I'll just undo it so I don't confuse anyone. So like I said, this connects to the cylinder and you start forming a knot. Before you tighten it, you put it around the cylinder again so it comes through, and then you'll loop it under. I don't think it matters if you go under or over, whichever looks better to you. But basically this is gonna, well, I guess there's our answer. It kind of fell apart. Let's go under. Make sure it doesn't fall apart. How about that? Get it through even a couple times if you want. So that's kind of what we're looking for. Now as we tighten that, it's going to be a little more self-tightening than if we had just done the one loop around. So like I said, that's just what I do. Whatever works for you works best. You can just do a normal square knot. But let's do that with the wire now. Okay, and also you really, when we tighten this, you don't want this as tight as possible. You'll kind of test moving this back and then putting the eyes down. Because I found if I make everything as tight as possible, sometimes the eyes like don't go down all the way, and we definitely want them to do that. So let's start putting this through here. Get it through this guy. Actually, I'm going to go from left to right this time. Because I noticed last time I tied it, the fishing line that came through tended to want to go to the right, which we don't want because it might fall off that end there. So I think if we go from left to right, that'll help. But it's harder to grab. That's why you get these tweezers or something. Okay, let's take a look where we're at. It's looping through, coming around, and now it's trying to move more to the left. Good, that's what we want. So, remember what I just showed you. We don't want it to go under. So we've got this loop, and now I'm just going to put it through it. And see how it just is kind of just looking like a normal knot there. So remember, like I said, before you tighten it, you just want to move this guy back around again through the cylinder. And then grab him. Come here, you. Oh, shoot. He outsmarted me. Come on. Alright, I got him this time, trust me. Yes, I'm not going to be outsmarted by plastic. Ooh, not again. Not again. Okay, and like I said, we'll just loop it around this thing again. Let's try a couple times just for fun. I'm kind of making up this knot. I bet it's a real one. But now, oh, see, maybe I was wrong, because now this edge is starting to move to the right. Oh, well. Let's just tighten and see what we got. Tighten, tighten, tighten. Make sure it doesn't get stuck on the little nub there. Tighten it up. Oh, wait, no, it's perfect. I did it perfectly. Do it the way I said at the beginning, because as you can see, it's moving. This part is kind of going to the left here, which we want. Because I tied it the other way before, and it was at an angle this way, and it kept threatening to kind of fall off the end there, which we don't want. So, before I give it a super tightening pull, we'll take a look at how it's looking. Okay, and then when it's closed, zoop. Perfect. You hear that clack? I mean, fell down all the way. It's great. And then zoop. Oh, that's perfect. Okay. We're just going to make that a little tighter then and see what happens. Let's take a look. It's in a book. Reading Rainbow. Okay. Give it another test. Oh, yeah. That is perfect. Okay, and then you can make this knot as bulky as you want. It's not going to run into anything. We just had to make sure this beginning little spoke knot was perfect. But this one, I actually tied it into knots a few more times just to make sure it's nice and tight in there. I don't know if you can also, like, hit it with a lighter or something. I think I've seen people do that before. Kind of melt it. I don't know. I would risk that. But like I said, I just want to give it another knot so it doesn't loosen. Went around the cylinder, but now I'm just going to give it a couple more knots just like this. See, just a simple knot there. And make sure it's, whoopsie, I'm tightening in the wrong spot. You want to make sure it's tightened down there, up against where all the knots are coming up. This is kind of going overboard, but over time, you just don't want this thing to start unraveling, and this will keep it from doing that. Yeah, I'll even do that one more time. It's like life. You want to tie up your loose ends. You want to really make sure those loose ends are tied up in a neat little